All right, Matthew Oliver, House of Oliver, thank you for taking a moment to join with us today. I'm here with the one and only Dr. Michael Huang, and we're going to be talking about important stuff. But you know what else is important? You are important. And you being educated and informed of everything that's going on. So take a moment, subscribe to this page. Why? Because not only does it help us continue to get you this information, but it helps you because it lets you know when this information is readily available. Then grab somebody, a neighbor, a friend, a niece, a cousin, sit down and watch this video, and then also like it and share it on whatever platform, because we're going to dive into the good stuff. And I want to make sure everybody you know and love and hold dear gets this same information. And that would be great. And I really, really appreciate it. And I mean, you have brought me big news throughout the short period of time I've known you. But probably the biggest news is that you are running for California State Senate.
That's right.
You didn't drop me any hints. You didn't tell me about it before it was happening. This is huge.
It's been brewing. I've been waiting for perhaps someone crazier than me that have more guts like yourself to jump into the ring. But I didn't hear that announcement.
Yeah.
I was holding my breath for 2 years. I'm like, bro, when's Matt gonna jump in?
Yeah.
Nope. And I'm like, okay, I'm the last one then.
Let
me try this.
I'll tell you, this is a wild deal. It's not, I mean, there's so many questions I want to ask. Every time we get together, I'm always excited because you're filled with knowledge, information. You're so brilliant in so many different aspects and areas. First, let's just talk about what motivated you. What was a catalyst to saying, I got to enter this race?
Sure. Politics, I think, will be the last thing I want to do. Even medicine. When I was a little kid, my mom said, you got to be a doctor. And I'm going to be a fighter pilot. I don't want to be a doctor. So I feel like I have a responsibility as an American, as a citizen, that I have to do this. Not that I'm important or anything. It's just I feel like, gosh, there's a calling.
Yeah.
In past 2 years, especially with COVID, seeing all this American die unnecessarily, and we spent a good amount of time talking about that, the lack of early treatment, all this fear, all this injury to kids, especially 2 weeks ago where I saw over 100 kids with mass-related injury. 80% of the little boy I saw younger than age 9 all has speech impediment because they are wearing a mask for the past year and a half.
Wow.
They can't enunciate their kid's name. And I looked at parents' eyes. I looked at the desperation. Some parents had to call doctors after doctors, 40, 50 different offices, just have them laugh at them and hang up and say, I cannot help your child because he or she has cerebral palsy and they cannot have a mask on their face. I just look at their eyes and say, oh my God, isn't there someone there willing to help them? It's not just about COVID. It's not just about masks. Some people say, oh, hey, you know so little. You are just addressing a little aspect of the societal issues. It's not that. It's about our democracy. It's about our liberty, right? If you go to the state Senate, the floor, there is George Washington's portrait. Underneath it, there's a Latin inscription. It reads, it is the Senate's responsibility to protect the liberty of the state.
Wow.
So let me ask you this, Matt. In the past 2 years, do you feel like you have more or less liberty?
Yeah, right. Totally less liberty. Our
Right.
freedoms have been taken away from us.
How many of your close friends and family have moved out of California?
Yeah, I lost count of about 150 friends that have moved out of the state.
I was really sad my sister moved to Texas.
Wow.
I have a very close-knit family, and I went to visit her about a month ago. I had the most horrible guilt trip that I just cheated on my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I have left my girlfriend in California and went visit another hottie at Texas. With a cowboy hat and cowboy boots, right? We did a cowboy dance and we had a great time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I still got my girlfriend
You're
back
enjoying
in
this.
California.
Yeah,
That's
you're
right.
enjoying Texas too much.
And it's like, oh my gosh, it's like a good whiff of freedom.
Yeah.
And I come back to California and it just dawned on me. California is burning. Once California go down, the West is going to go down.
Yeah.
Right? You have all this nutcase in the Senate, in the state, mandating, coming up with bill after bill. You cannot do this. You cannot do that. How dare you say this? How dare you say that? Want to take your license away. And you, with your fantastic talk over at Acton, you mentioned that you have all this health inspection people that came out to your restaurant, say you're violating, they're violating that. These agencies should be here. The first thing they should have done during the pandemic is say, hey, Matt, what can we help you with the House of Oliver to help you survive, help you bring more business? They're like, no. Here are the things they didn't do right. We're going to shut you down because of this, right? I mean, come on. I run a business myself.
Yeah.
I've been reported to every agency on the sun the past 2 years. Not one time had they come in and say, hey, Dr. Mike, what can we help you to treat more COVID patients? What can we help you, Matt, to serve more food to the first responder, to the firefighter, to the frontline worker that's working tirelessly to treat COVID patients, right? Not one time have we seen our government official and agency come in and say, what can we do to help keep Elon Musk here, to keep SpaceX here? Not one time. So as a Senate, I want to make sure that first, we defend our liberty. Second, we got to restore the state's reputation that this is a destination state. The destination state, that means we work on business. That the state entity is not there to find fault in you. It's to give you tools to help you flourish and survive.
Wow. What now? The reality, though, is you're a doctor running for the state Senate seat. Isn't there another doctor running for this seat as well, possibly against you?
You mean that one that plays doctor on TV?
What do you think? What's the difference between you and Dr. Pan, who's also running for this seat? He's a current state senator.
He has a wealth of knowledge and truth that he's not sharing with any one of us. He basically said this is the Bible of truth, the Pan's doctrine. Anyone dare to go against that and arrogant enough to say, I claim and own the truth, that anybody dare to go against me, you're going to be canceled. Your license is going to be stripped. You're going to be run out of the state, right? So what do we call this? Socialism, right? Dictatorship. Nothing good ever come out of these type of practice. And as I mentioned the other show, Albert Einstein, the most genius mind in the world, when he was a professor at Princeton, they love a good heated exchange idea, discussion. We don't call it arguments, it's discussion. And I race cars, and I mentioned I love a good discussion with my race engineer, with fellow racer. They come and say, hey, Mike, this is stupid. I can't believe you're putting this about brake pad on it. You're not going to stop at turn 6. You're going to run through the grass, right? I love those discussions. When I was going to school at UCLA, when I was going to residency, I was a House staff president at UC Davis. When I'm running leading a team of physicians, going on rounds, running code blues and putting lines in patients, we have our morning rounds. We talk. I don't pull out the Michael Huang truth book and plop it down on the table and say, any one of you dare to go against my truth, pack your bag and go home.
Wow.
Right? And that's what Penn is doing right now.
Well, Penn is probably one of my least favorites, right? You know, him and Newsom kind of get there, but Penn has not only removed the religious exemption from vaccines for students in school and spearheaded some of those things, but isn't he trying right now to remove the religious exemptions to force vaccines and to force... I mean, he's been an advocate for so many bills and things that are bad for our students, bad for our families, bad for our way of life in the state of California, our freedoms.
Yes, and that's what a dictator does, is they are trying to strip your ability to choose. I do have to say, in Penn, Mr. Penn, if you don't like this, sorry, but I do have a voice and I need to voice my opinion. And my upbringing is Chinese. My family are from China. They fought against the communists and the Japanese during World War II. I grew up in Taiwan. I know what socialism, I know what fear is. And also, I have a deep-rooted Asian culture. That means respect. Respect for you, respect for other, respect for the elderly. And one thing I do not like is if my family name, if my tradition, if who I represent are disrespected. I really feel strongly that what Penn did in the past, whatever his tenure is with the state of California, has basically destroyed the liberty of the state and the liberty of the people. For me, it's basically shameful.
Yeah.
As far as the culture, as far as the respect goes. Wow. I feel like I'm ashamed, okay, that we had a similar ethnic background. That being said, this is what he did, and I cannot stop how I feel as a person. Deep down, we are all American. That's who we are. Now, what ties us together, I don't know whether you heard what I said before, is if I look at your blood, if I look at your DNA, you're from probably, some genetic heritage from Europe, from England, and I'm from Asia. Nowhere in your genes will say that you're American, right? That Americanness, what tied us together is idea of democracy, freedom. And so we need to make sure that's not going away, because if that's all going away, it's all we care about. That what tied us together is greed, selfishness. Yeah. Then we're just going to have a bowl of loose end.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you have a passion and a desire. I mean, one, you fought for these families. You fought for students. You put your job on the line, put your career on your line, your education, everything that you've done your entire life. You said, the truth is more important. And what I love about that is that as you're running for California State Senate, you get into Senate, you're still going to fight the same way.
That's right.
I'm going to put it all on the line.
All on the line.
For truth, for families. And one of the things about it is, though, you're not a career politician. You haven't been have you been in politics before I didn't know about? Ran for office here and there?
You mean am I work trying to politic my office manager that run my life? That's about it.
No, so but you're a businessman. You're educated. You're a doctor. You're a businessman, and you are, because of what you've seen, saying, I've got to stand up and fight, which I absolutely respect, because over the last 2 years, the only reason I'm here doing what I'm doing right now is because I couldn't sit back and do nothing. We had to do something. And I'm glad that you won the arm wrestle and you get to run, because that was not going to be good for me. But so what can people do to help support you? Where can they find out more information?
Sure. I wish that you would have won that arm wrestle. You're being too kind. These are chicken wings. And
what can I say?
Arnold Schwarzenegger bicep, right?
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
The thing is, Matt, I can only cry so many times in a week. I'm tired of crying. Wow. The injuries, the suffering, the insult that I see day after day after day after day after day, I cannot bear that anymore. Yeah. I absolutely cannot. There are nights I will go home at 3 o'clock in the morning after seeing 70 kids getting critically injured. I will get maybe 2 hours sleep at night because I'm crying at night. I'm like, how can this happen in the United States? How can this happen in our country? So this is the reason why I'm running. I realize that there are career politicians that, yes, this is my job. I'm going to hire a manager that runs my campaign, that, I'm going to pay him or her $250,000 a year, that does everything beautifully.
I'll do it. I'll do it. Right. Yep, you can hire me. I'm in.
Right.
Game on.
So what I realized is like, oh my gosh, this is our country. If you don't do what you do now, if I don't do what I do now, we might as well just roll over.
Yep.
Play dead.
No, we got to.
That's it.
We got to stand up. We've got to fight.
Yeah.
Here's a question I know I'm going to get asked. Are you running Democrat, Independent, Libertarian, Republican? Do you have a party that you're affiliated with?
I'm running as American. Most of all. Okay. So I think the party thing, and we can discuss this a little bit.
But you have to pick a party, don't you?
Yes,
when
yes,
you run?
yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
okay.
In the past 10 plus years, I voted for McCain, Obama, Trump. Dare I say the name Hillary?
No.
Yes. I voted for the American I feel like that will do the best job. So
That's a mixed bag right there. That was a bunch of names
Definitely.
all over the map.
2 years ago, I'm an avid NPR listener. The day I stopped listening to NPR is when the COVID hit. And one of the program, they brought on a specialist or a professional and say, oh yeah, by the way, if you want to prevent from yourself getting COVID, when you walk past a person, hold your breath. So when they said that, I stopped listening to NPR.
Yeah, you couldn't do it anymore.
I can't do it anymore, right? So imagine if you're Elon Musk, you're trying to build SpaceX.
I'm imagining right now.
Yeah. Tesla. You have your body shop constantly fighting against software department. Software constantly fighting against engineering. Engineering constantly fighting with the rocket booster. You're never going to build a rocket, let alone build a car with 4 wheels on it. Trying to smear each other, find fault. Oh,
Yeah.
you cheated on your girlfriend, this and that. Oh, look at your tax return, right? You never get anything done. That's what American politics is like now. So I have always been undeclared because I don't want to be labeled as
Well, and in
right or
California,
left.
you can.
Yes.
You can be an undeclared and kind of vote
Yes.
as you feel who the best person for the job is.
I have friends that's Republican. I have friends that's hardcore Democrat.
Yeah.
I have friends that love Trump. I have friends that hate Trump. Okay, we've been called names as a Trump supporter. People banging on our doors because
Sure.
we're not wearing masks at my work. I have decided to declare as a Republican because I feel like I'm more inclined with the philosophy that the Republican represent now. And I'm really proud of the Republican Party that it's a party of acceptance, a party of tolerance.
Yeah.
And it's I thought that was Democrat Party before. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And my Democratic friend, please do not attack me because I'm not declared as Democrat. Again, I'm running this as American. And that means I would like to bring both parties together. Right?
Well, and I think that's very important, especially in California and in the California State Senate, is you have to be able to work with people who have different beliefs and different philosophies and theologies, and being able to say, hey, I want to reach across that aisle, let's work together, I think is going to be very important.
Who was the last president that was able to do that gracefully? Ronald Reagan? Right?
And he did it really well.
Yeah.
And
And we have some fabulous Republican, Democrat presidents in the history of a country. And we got to do that if you want to accomplish anything that's useful. All this bickering, fighting, calling each other names, CNN versus Fox, it just wastes off everyone's time and money.
yeah. So they can go to your website to find out more information, which
Yes.
is?
The website is huangsenate.com, HUANG Senate, SENATE.com.
And they can find out more. I'm sure you're going to be doing some campaigns, some rallies. You're going to be going, and you're still at the same time treating people.
Yes.
All this is going on.
All this is going on.
So if they can't see you at a campaign, all they got to do is call your office, make an appointment, say, doctor, I'm struggling with some mental issues. I need to know, and then they can get the inside scoop. But so you're still available.
A lot of people ask when I declared I would run around for Senate. A lot of people ask, why do you keep on saying we? We are running for the seat. We are campaigning. We are going to take the state back. Why not? I'm going to.
Yeah.
The reason why I use we a lot is I cannot do this without the grassroots support. All the mama bears, all the frontline workers, all the people that Placer, Sacramento, that's just so thrilled.
Yeah.
That I am crazy enough to run for the seat. There is a sense of excitement. There's such a sense of electricity and love. I have not experienced this ever, except maybe after winning a race on the racetrack with all that adrenaline going. I mean, every day the amount of electricity excitement is unbelievable. That's
Yeah.
why I say we. It's not me, it's we. The District 6 that's running for this.
You have a lot of ground, that base support, that ground level support. You have a ton of people coming out and really rallying hard. And I know it's not going to be easy. And I know he's going to need your help. So if you want to support, the best way to support, one of the ways it's going to be big and really important is to help donate to a campaign.
That's right.
So I encourage you to check it out. I'm sure we're going to have a link posted in the comments at some point where you can donate to the campaign. So find out more information, get informed, because what we don't want is more fake doctors that are making decisions for our kids. We want someone who's educated, who's informed, who believes in liberty. And the fact that you've gone through communism and socialism and you've seen firsthand the effects, and your family has fought against it and fought for freedom. You know the value of freedom. You know the value of what you got when you come into America and you experience that. And I love seeing you fighting so hard so that others can experience that freedom.
That's right.
Doctor, I appreciate it. Michael, thank you so much for jumping in. Thank you guys for watching. Find out more information. Watch more videos. We got lots of info from people running all sorts of different offices and infos on wineries and restaurants and different things that are going on in our community, because we want to keep you informed. I'm appreciative. If you didn't subscribe and you already got to the end of it, what's wrong with you? Subscribe now. Like it. Share it. Thank you guys so much. And you guys know how it goes. Till we drink together again. Cheers.